tragic accident. Like tragic accidents just happen all the time in Carroll County. I'm just saying. It's a very, very unlucky place to live. They dropped the charges because it was accidental. You don't accidentally run over somebody and back up and try to do it again. Let's start from the beginning as investigative reporters, right? So you would ask the questions who, what, where, when, and why. Should be easy, right? Of course it is. Yes, I know, you're innocent until proven guilty, but what good does that do you if you are not alive?
Well, hello, my silky friends. Let me turn this music off for a minute. I think it might be interfering sometimes with the stream. Let me say first and foremost that it is it's storming like crazy over here. And so know this, if my power goes out and I, go off stream, I will be on. Right. Yeah. Wow, what a day. What a day. Let me say hello. Pam Frenchman, you're here and ready for the news. Hello, Daniel Barry. Good to see you. Scott Perkins, hello. Buckeye Clay fan. I always get that wrong. Hello from a very rainy Houston. Wow. Yeah, it's raining really bad here. I've got a short reprieve, but that doesn't mean my signal's going to be any better. We have a lot of stuff to catch up on. A lot of cases to catch up on, and a gnat is trying to get in my coffee. Sorry, I'm distracted. You can't have it. It smells sweet. So, yeah. I hope you all had a beautiful Sunday. I did. I got to catch up with some friends this morning that I haven't seen in a long time, and reconnect, and it was just beautiful. It was beautiful, and I sat out in the sun for a few minutes this morning. And then I had a very weird afternoon, and I was trying to get ready for tonight. I wasn't sure if I wasn't sure if I was going to go live tonight. I thought about doing a members only, and then the Delphi dumpster fire happened. So yeah, they did. They brought me up today. So if you are here, and I'm sorry, little thing. If you're here and you are trying to catch up on Mica Miller, Karen Reed, Sebastian Rogers, or Ellie Strain, we are going to get into it, okay? I just have a little tiny bit of housekeeping to do first, all right? Wow. Okay. So, if you saw my community post and you are new to this channel, you have no idea what is going on, and so I'm going to keep this very, very brief, okay? I cover the Delphi case. I used to do it primarily. I'm all over the place now with everything else. Still catching up on Delphi. I may just do a whole live on it. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens tomorrow, because, tomorrow Monday, anything happen. But let me just explain. If you don't know anything about it, I'm not going to go into the details, but let me just give you a brief. Those of you who are wondering what the heck my community post was about, a few months ago, someone sent me some screenshots of text messages of a private conversation in which I was mentioned. Okay, look, y'all have no idea how many people send me all kind of crap, okay? Like, I've got tons of stuff that I don't share, and, I was like, I didn't understand, okay? I didn't understand what the text messages were about, because it kind of, sounded like the IRA was mentioned, all right? And I was like, why are they talking about me and this situation in the same sentence? Because, you know, there is never been any 1 second that I have ever been like somebody who the IRA would recruit. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what this is about. Maybe it means something else. Maybe those initials are something else. I was like, whatever, okay? And it wasn't bad necessarily in the text. I mean, they weren't saying terrible things, but it was just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. So I did some independent research, okay? And I found out that really it didn't have anything to do with me. It had to do with a backstory of one of the people involved. And look, I am not here to talk about people's past and their whatevers. You know, first of all, it was an interesting story. I was like, well, what do you know about that? And that was the extent of it, okay? So anybody, hello, Charlene. It's good to see you. All right, sorry for all this mess that's going on. I'm about done. So yeah, my first name is out there. Let me just tell you, it's never been a secret. It is on my early videos. You know what? Nobody wants to be doxxed. But here's the thing. When I started this channel, I wasn't afraid of being doxxed, even though I had no idea what I was getting into. Look, I wasn't afraid then, and let me tell you something. I'm not afraid now. All right? Do you have that? I don't know what you think you're doing. But maybe it wasn't meant in any kind of harmful way. All right? Let me just set the record straight. The record is, I don't know what the heck they were talking about, but I do know the backstory, and it has nothing to do with me or Delphi or any other crime case that I cover. So, I don't know. What? So there you go. There you go. Hello, Butterfly Kisses. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. All right, so that was the end of that. So, yeah, it sounded like a misunderstanding. Maybe. Y'all in y'all in the Delphi community know there's a lot of hate going on among creators and people. So there's always some drama, and I don't get into the drama. But that is your latest installment coming straight to you from WHAT-FM, The Heck, in Delphi, the dumpster fire. All right? Okay, let's get on with tonight. Like I said, I hope y'all had a beautiful day. There are so many things to cover, y'all. For the people who are yeah, too much drama, yeah. They thought I was more interested than you were. I mean, I'll listen to a good story, but I wasn't interested in being recruited for anything. And I don't think that wasn't even, like, even knowing the backstory, that wouldn't be what it is. Like, it was something that somebody was on the outskirts of, but it was interesting. Oh, I didn't know you had knew anybody from that case. So there you go. That was it. Okay. For everybody who is watching, who is here for Mica Miller, I am going to start with her, okay? And I want to start with, I really, really wish I could have been in South Carolina today. But, I had made some commitments here. But let me go ahead and show you. Wait, let me do this. I'll tell you who was in South Carolina today, and that was JLR. And so if you don't know, we're going to get into the story. This is, hello, John Morgan. This is a little bit, I'm just going to play a little bit of the protest that was outside of the church this morning. So let me get that up here for you. Make sure you can see it. Let me do this bigger. if I can.
Whole block's full, folks. Whole block's full. Hello.
And this is when they were setting up.
The whole block is full. We're talking over 100 people here. And that's the church, folks. That's the church right there.
This is the church in question, Solid Rock Church at Market Commons in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So you can see they had a pretty good turnout. These are some of the people. These shirts right here were printed and donated, I believe.
Give your GoDaddy managed WordPress hosting a boost with AI.
Y'all hate this.
Just answer a few questions.
YouTube. Anyway, break the silence and end domestic violence. Purple was Mica's favorite color, I believe. That was my understanding. And then I'm going to let you see a little bit of them going around.
Justice for Mica! We want it now! We want justice for Mica! We want it now! What do we want? Justice for Mica! We want it now! What do we want? Justice for Mica! We want it now!
Now let me say that these people are, I'm assuming, okay, I am assuming here that most of these people are people that know either JP or Mica Miller and truly do not believe she unalived herself last Saturday, a week ago Saturday. So, yeah, we'll skip. Let me go ahead and change this to later on, and I didn't know they were going to do this. But they had a vigil. So let me pull that one up a little bit. And look, when y'all are looking at this, watch. I'm gonna start it. I hope if everything's set right, I'm gonna start it with some planes that go over. It was a beautiful thing. I'm not gonna show you the whole vigil because I mean it's on JLR's videos, but also and it's also the protest I think is on Facebook, a Facebook Live this morning. But you can't hear what they're saying because it's so windy, okay? But I did want to show you this because I thought this was quite beautiful. Look at this. You can see all the people gathered out here. There were several speakers, but again, it didn't pick up on the microphone. And they had mics out there, but you really can't see anything. But yeah, if you might can hear a little bit of that. Okay. I don't know if can you hear any of that? Anyway, that was the two things that got done today. Yeah, those t-shirts were done quickly. They said they were doing them even up to last night, I think is what the guy or one of the people said that was giving them out. Yeah. So there you go. And there is so much about Mica and more. Like it just keeps pouring out, okay? And let me just tell you, it's pretty disgusting, okay? It's pretty disgusting to me. And we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Let me go ahead and put this up there. All right. For those of you who don't know this case at all, it just happened. I know probably most of you do, but I'm going to make it real quick. JP Miller and Mica Miller were a couple pastors. He was a pastor and she was the worship leader at Solid Rock Church at Market Commons, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Last Sunday, he got up and announced, very weirdly, after preached the whole sermon, like the whole thing. And then he said, oh, you know, kind of by the way, my wife has passed away. She unalived herself. It was a weird thing. But and I've said this every time I do a video, but he's like, hey, don't stop coming to church and don't stop giving, right? That was beyond disgusting, in my opinion. However, as they had her service today at the church. And by the way, let me say a couple of things. The church is not closed or closing that we know of. All right. Some people were kind of speculating, and especially because they said the website or something was down. It was down because of all the negative reviews, people writing stuff on there. All right. Yeah. Exactly, Pam Frenchman. That is what we are looking at. Dollars. Yeah, I'm going to be very interested to know. I'm trying to find out more about that, okay? All right. This I thought was interesting, and this comes from all over the place. Like, look. This comes from X. This comes from Facebook. This comes from Reddit. It comes from everywhere. And that's the whole thing, is we wanted to, I'm sorry. My phone's going nuts. We wanted to bring this case, and now I see it's really getting traction. And we wanted to get this as quickly as could, as many creators could do this, because we wanted an investigation into her death. We didn't want her, as we found out last night, John Paul wanted her immediately cremated. Now that to me is always very sus, okay? Always very sus. Let me look at this real quick. I want to make sure it's not yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So he wanted her cremated, and then you find out he was having an affair, and then you find out that he had actually been grooming his wife, one who took her own life. They say, allegedly, that he had groomed her since she was about 14 or 15 years old. It's a hot mess. And, yeah. Yeah, it's really strange. John Morgan, he said, amazing he knew she had unlocked herself. I have not confirmed this. Yes, and I found a very interesting thing also on somewhere today. I've got a picture of it, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Now, this right here, strangely enough, if you've been looking at pictures and videos of Mica Miller, this is not Mica Miller. What? No, this is his first wife, Allison Williams. I think they call her Allie. Is that right? Is that Allison? I think it is. But look at her. Oh my God. She looks like, let me make this bigger for just a second. I know it's grainy, but these are photos of photos, but look at this woman. Now, she is absolutely gorgeous as well, but she is like a dead ringer for Mica. I look at them side by side. A lot of people on social media have side-by-side comparisons, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, seriously? I can't even tell them apart. That's crazy to me. So I'm like, what happened, John? Did you just... did you just, your wife had 5 kids, and then you're thinking, yeah, you know what? I like her. She's real pretty and all, but I think I want a younger version. I don't know. That's crazy. But like I said, people knew that he was growing up Mica from a very young age. What happened to his first wife? They actually, I'm sure it wasn't the only affair, okay, but he did, have an affair. He and Mica he did start having an affair with Mica before they were divorced. And, of course, I'm sure there's a lot of things that led to the divorce, and I wish that Allison would say something, but If I were in her position and knowing what I keep finding out, she's probably it feels like it's not real safe to do that. And I would have to agree with her at this point. If at some point John Paul is found, that he is complicit in Micah's, passing away, then she might be able to talk. Yeah, you're right. His new hot trot is a blonde. We're going to look at that one. Now, y'all know this is the third one I've been on Mica Miller. And you see that we've got several pictures of him out on the town already with his newest one. I say newest, but let me tell you something. She ain't that new. Because as we find out that they have been together for quite a while. Let me make this one bigger. Let me take myself out of here. All right. Now this picture on the right, this is the new one. Susie, it says Susie Q Skipper, but that is Susie Skinner. All right. Her husband was strangely passed away in 2021. Mysterious kind of circumstances. But you can see here, look at this. What kind of pastor? Look, he doesn't have a shirt on, clearly. What the heck? What the actual heck? So clearly, pictures are worth 1,000 words. Yeah, so you're laying up in the bed or somewhere, at least half naked with another woman. That's a nice look for a pastor, don't you think? Sure, everybody wants to see their pastor like that. All right, this is something over here to the left. I'm going to read this out in case you can't see it. This is supposedly written by Susie Skinner. Okay, and this is shortly after Micah's passing away. It says, this is what she said, quote, "He is my friend. His wife died 4 days ago and he had no one to eat with. He asked some people to sit with him, but no one could go. So he asked if I could go. I went. Oh, well, isn't that nice of you, Susie? How sweet. We've been friends for years. It wasn't a date. People also said he unalived his wife, but we think she called the police. We think. Do you really think that? Or is that what you are told? Just wondering. But we think she called the police before she did that, and she said she bought a weapon and wanted to unalive herself and wanted to make sure they could ping her phone so her family could find the body. This is from the nurse at the hospital. What? I don't know who this nurse is. This was strange to me. Then she did it. She has attempted this before. She is schizophrenic, bipolar, and has dependent personality disorder. She put herself off her medication starting in December against her doctor's orders and JP's wishes, and even texted her family to tell them she was doing it. Okay, let me stop right there for a second, because her family are the first ones that came out on social media and said, this is BS. She did not unalive herself. So if she literally texted her family, as Miss Susie wants us to believe, then they would already know, right? She was in a bad state. She said she was going to do this. But the family's like, no. This is the longest she has been off lithium since being diagnosed in 2017. A few weeks ago, she threw a belt out of the car while driving on the highway because she thought it was a snake. My question is, can anybody vet this? Did she say it on social media? Did she tell somebody that she was hallucinating? Or is this just what JP said? She was recently playing chess alone and talking to herself. Hey, look, doing something by yourself and talking to yourself, I hope to God nobody ever has a camera on me, because I talk to myself all the time. I'm just saying. And when they asked her what she was doing, she said she was playing chess with the demon. She was very, not extremely, She was very, not extremely, mentally ill, and the people who post things like this on social media haven't spoken to her or JP in years. They were part of his first church that ended in 2015, so none of that is what people make it look like. Oh, because they didn't know about his infidelity and stuff back in 2015. Look, this church has busted up a whole bunch of times. It just keeps he keeps going. He keeps pulling shenanigans. People leave, and then a new crop comes in that doesn't know anything about it. Okay? That's what's been going on. So a lot of the people now, the newer ones, they have no idea, right? They're listening to what he's saying. So none of that is what people make it look like. On social media, others claim that Mica was unlikely to unalive herself. Now, there was a pastor at one point who said, oh, no, this is not true. Actually, he said their marriage was back on track, that they had a bump in the road back in October, whatever. I found this picture of them, and I was just totally disgusted. Yeah, you're right. Kind of. His new girlfriend does look older, doesn't she? Y'all are funny in the comments. I didn't mean to highlight that one. Whoops. Sorry. Charlene. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, that was hard to swallow. But yeah, so now we're seeing pictures, and we know that she is defending him. Remember, if you don't know, her husband was he was a paraplegic, and he was in a wheelchair. He had been in a car accident when he was 20 years old, but he was a motivational speaker. Now, I saw something where she said that they used to go to this pool every day. And now I have heard, this has been reported, that he did know he could swim. I don't know if that was like he could float, because you can do that. I can float, not move anything. Anyway, but she said that they used to go all the time, like every day. They went to this pool. And there's been a lot of questions about some of his medical equipment, and I'm not going to go there right now till I get more information. But apparently he went by himself, and, even though he went every day and sat by the pool, apparently this day he just fell in. And, he passed away from drowning. So, wow. Yeah. Hello, Leo. Yeah, so, that was very suspicious. And they say, this was in 2021, and the rumor mill is, as, we talked about before, that Susie and JP started seeing each other after that they've been seeing a lot. And in fact, some people say it's common knowledge that, they've been cavorting, for a while. JP preached her husband's funeral, by the way. Is that not weird? Okay, so let's go on. All right. I liked this Facebook post. We all know that John Paul was controlling her old Facebook profile. Okay, now that is not surprising. Okay, in an abusive relationship with someone who is, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I'm going to say he's narcissistic. And if you're a narcissist, you definitely have control issues. And so the fact that her old Facebook profile, I guess when they were married, was controlled by him is not surprising or shocking at all. But what most of you don't know, oh my gosh, he posted a picture of her without clothes. Okay, I don't think I can say that word. About 3 weeks ago. It was immediately taken down, and then he deleted the profile, but several people saw it. This can be confirmed by family members. This is the day when Mica made this post, and this is the post of her with this picture, and it says, "When terrible, terrible, terrible things happen to you, y'all know what I'm talking about. RPF, resting peace face." All right, so yeah, here is my question. Wow. If he was controlling her Facebook, do you all think, because this is what I think that was done to just humiliate her. Maybe she had done something. Maybe she had done something minor. Maybe she burnt the supper. Maybe she did, something else. Maybe she just wasn't doing what he wanted her to do. And so he's like, okay, yeah, let's publicly humiliate you. Because, I mean, I know a lot of women, would love that. That's beyond, like, I can't fathom. But for a Christian woman, that is probably one of the humiliating things that you can do to a person, even if it's just for a little bit. And then people in the congregation, your friends, your family and stuff sees that. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was just, in my opinion, to just tear her down even further. And let me tell you something. If she was suffering with any kind of mental issues of, depression, anxiety, which I'm sure she was through the marriage, I mean, being married to him and all this stuff that has been coming out, how he's had multiple affairs. And I mean, that's not shocking, but how he groomed her. So, I mean, yes, there were issues when they got together. And I'm like, look, I'm not going to judge that, okay? And let me tell you why. Because when you're groomed as a 14 or 15-year-old, like, you can very much come under mind control, by someone else, especially someone older. And then, I mean, I don't know. I'm not here to judge what she did, but I do feel like that we can all judge his actions, right? And we know that most people have said her mental issues have come from being married to him. Wow, what a shocker. All right. Yeah, maybe she didn't starch his shirts correctly. Yeah. I mean, it could have been something, it could have been something like that. So, I mean, here we go. You're in an abusive relationship, and like I've talked about before, when you're in a church, and especially when you're a pastor's wife, my goodness, how are you going to get out of that? You can't get out of that without suffering a lot of humiliation, a lot of judgment, and then it affects the church, and then you have to feel like, and I feel like, I didn't know Mica, but I feel like, based on what she has said and the videos that she's made, that she's the kind of person that would have not wanted to hurt other people. Okay, because when you're in a church and you're in leadership like that, you hide your problems because you don't want the church to break up, because how many people are going to get hurt, and maybe some people are even going to turn away from God or get upset or have a crisis of faith. So these are things that you think about, and I'm sure she thought about it a lot, and that probably added to the whole thing, because JP was not the person at home that he was in the pulpit. Clearly. And when we went back yesterday and we looked at the history of his dad and the history of his oldest son, like, there's a lot of violence. There's a lot of domestic violence. There's all kind of, your garden variety sins. But even his oldest son hit his wife over the head with a bottle and got in legal trouble. Come on. Where did he see that? That's my question. Lynn. You went to the memory service today on the beach. Hey, Lynn, if you want to talk to us, I'll throw a link out there and you can come up on panel and talk to us about what happened today. I would love to hear it. And I would love to hear what the atmosphere was, and, what people are saying, I'm going to tell you something. My question is going to be this, because you've heard me say it over and over and over when it comes to crime cases. Now, it's not always this way. Sometimes it's a crime of passion, but most of the time we're looking at stuff. Follow the money. Follow the money trail, because remember, we watched some stuff yesterday that suggested that Mica may have known that JD and whatever was doing some stuff at the church that was not really like for the church. Okay, maybe there was suggestion of money laundering and all this kind of stuff. Also, we know that he had part ownership in a bar. Okay, I don't know, but it was your church salary your only source of income? That's my question. Because now, if you have a side, I'm saying it right, okay? I'm not saying whatever. But if you have a side business and you have money in that's clearly just yours and has nothing to do with the church, you want to make a bad decision as a pastor and say, I'm going to invest in a bar, that's your decision. But if you are a pastor and you are getting money from the church, that money that people are tithing, that people are giving to, for the school in Africa, for, all these different things, all these different programs, keeping the lights on, keeping the everything going, they're giving money to you. And so you are taking their money and investing it in a bar? That is a big problem for me, JP. Now, if it's your money, do what you want. Okay, yeah. Lynn, I would love to talk to you. If you don't want to come on panel and you don't want to talk about it, I would love to talk to you just privately. My email is silkyandsouthern@gmail. I would love to just hear first account of what it was like. The family is really sad. I'm sure they're devastated. Oh, wow. Wow, it was held at the same place she was baptized. Aw. Aw. Wow. Wow. You know what? I bet she was looking down, though, and I bet she was glad, at least. I bet that made her happy that place was chosen. Okay, too many rumors right now. Yeah, that's what, and I don't want to get on the rumor mill. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm looking at stuff on social media and I don't know what's true and what's not true. When I see it and from several different people, that's when I'm like, okay, well, more than one person has said this, so maybe this is true. And believe me, I am not afraid. If I say something on here that is incorrect, let me know. I am not afraid to say, hey, y'all, wrong information. Let me correct this. So Crocodile Rocks is a very expensive piano bar. So that is what he was investing in. Very interesting. Oh, they put flower petals in the ocean. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, no, it's fine. I shared earlier today, I played some of his, and I don't know, JLR usually doesn't have a problem with people playing his videos, but I played just little snippets of his, and I put it out on my community page this morning to let people know that he was going to be there, because I wanted to be there, and I could not swing it today. So, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Oh, it was streaming on a few YouTubes. Yeah, see, I was even going to stream it from Facebook on this channel this morning, but I couldn't be here. That was the whole thing. I couldn't go live at all. Wow. Yeah. I mean, so that's the thing. We have a family, we have friends who are devastated. And this isn't okay. All right, it's not okay. I wanted you to let me make this bigger too. This is the map, okay? I just want you to look at this. I'm going to make it even bigger for myself because I can't see it. All right, so if you're looking at Solid Rock Church is down there at the beach, okay? That's along the ocean, and this is the route that she took to Lumber River State Park, which they say is about an hour and a half, maybe a little bit more away. You know, these are the things that I want to know. Like, why there? Let's say she did do it. Why there? What did that have any meaning to her? You know, things like this are important. Yeah, I did see that they were investigating. And we've talked about that. Let me talk about this. This, y'all. This, y'all. I saw this today because this was in the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina news. Mica Miller died of a gunshot wound at a public state park in North Carolina, just an hour's drive away from her home. The coroner refuses to rule this as a self-unaliving, and the case remains under investigation. J.P. Miller, her estranged husband, says Mica committed self-harm. A local source sent Myrtle Beach, South Carolina news these comments. Okay. And this is what I read to you in the beginning, the comments from his female friend, you know, the one that we've got pictures of him out, you know, having dinner with. But this is the thing. The coroner refuses to rule this as a self-harm incident. Now, there's all kind of rumors out there. Some rumors, they've been stated, debunked, restated about where the wound was. Some say in the back of her head. Others say no. But here's the thing. If I'm a coroner and I refuse to rule it as a self-harm, then that tells me that something is very, very off. If the wound was in the back of the head, we all know that's almost impossible to do. But yeah, I was like, oh, holy Moses. If the coroner's not ruling it as that, then absolutely. Now, here's my y'all people who know stuff. and this is one of the reasons I'd love to go to South Carolina and just chat with some folks, not on live, not on, you know, record like this. But I have a lot of questions about the money. I would like to know what the financial status was of the church. Because here, look, this is what made me angry. All right. I understand they're divorcing, but he's the pastor. She's the worship leader. I'm sure his salary is way bigger than hers. And she was in a bunch of different ministries. I assume that she got paid for this. But when she files, like, he files for support. Are you kidding me? Really? You're going to file against her for support? In what kind of world? Because that, to me, shows a lot about character. All right? You have taken this girl, groomed her, and now you have issues, whatever. Whatever your problems are, you got issues. Those kids are your kids. And you're asking her to support you, but you are the one that is the pastor. Like, you have the bigger salary. So what, was that just trying to break her down more? Was he hoping that the judge was going to make her pay him money? I mean, everything, it's not one thing in particular. It's when you add up all these little things, and then you can see the pattern of him breaking her down. And look, if you have ever been in an abusive relationship, and I have, you know what a toll it takes on you, the gaslighting, you know. And let me tell you something, being in a relationship like that, an abusive relationship, is bad enough in general. But when you are in the church and you are a Christian person in the church, you have so much guilt, and you have all these people saying, you know, God hates divorce. Yes, I know that. But you know what? I agree with Mica. You know what he also hates? He also hates abuse. Okay? And when you have somebody breaking you down, it takes all your self-confidence. And then you have all these questions, especially with children. But like, how am I going to get by? And what are people going to think? And I'm going to lose all my friends and especially when you have somebody in the pulpit, if people don't know his past, you have someone in the pulpit who is, charismatic, and you're like, oh my goodness, that poor pastor, his wife, she blah, blah, blah. Look, you don't want to have to live like that. Come on. It's hard. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, good on the corner. Absolutely. Okay, you met some people, started talking, but just chatting. Yeah, I mean, and here we are on social media, really kind of judging him. And I really don't usually do that at the get-go. But it seemed entirely off from the very start, okay? And the problem is, with me, is I have been in church my whole life, and I have seen this over and over and over. I don't even want to start naming the pastors that I know that are one way in the pulpit and a completely different way at home. All right? I'm going to tell you something. I'm the same everywhere. I'm a hot mess, and I will tell you I'm a hot mess. Anywhere. You know me outside. I'm not going to hide it, okay? Yeah, I got my own issues. But it's not one way here and pretending I'm something else and then having an affair. I mean, it's not even like you have been seen. You have a history of this, sir. You have a history of this. So now, when your wife is unalived, is it going to come up? Absolutely. As it should. As it absolutely should. And you should be accountable. You should be held accountable. If nothing else, let's say you didn't have anything to do with her unaliving. You should at least be held accountable before all of the people that you have stood up and preached to all these years. And the people that you have harassed and that you have said, you're sinning, you're this, you're that. Okay, it's time for the truth to be out on the table. And apparently that never happened with your dad until recently with the allegations. But look, we have to stop it. Is someone beyond repair and salvation? No. But JP doesn't even have a chance until he comes clean and gets to the bottom of himself. And now's a good time, buddy. Now's a real good time. Yes, it does have those vibes. I said it kind of has Shannon Watts vibes, and it also has Vallow and Daybell vibes to me. Not as, that we know of, not that extreme, but how do you spiritually make this okay? There's got to be a thing. There's got to be a reason. What do you tell people? Hello, Mary Melinda. Yeah. Yes, they did close it down because of the negative new reviews. Yeah, I did see that. Yesterday people were saying they shut it down completely, but they did not. So that vigil was this same time as the church went, oh, okay. Well, that makes sense, all right? Because the people who couldn't walk back in at church, went to the beach instead. And I agreed. Yeah. I think unalive is not a real word. Fact. Yes, you are right. But let me tell you why we all say it. Because if we say the actual words on YouTube, we get a strike. We get a strike, and they will not, they really won't let us do anything with our video. If we do it a bunch of times, we have to take that video down. So that's why you see a lot of us YouTubers dancing around and not being able to say what we want to say because we're under, the YouTube guidelines. And I try to stay in those. I mess up sometimes when I'm covering a case and say the M word. It's not a bad word, y'all. It's just YouTube doesn't like it. So I try not to. Hi, Professor Pug. Let's see. So if who showed up? JP giving a service for... Okay, that one, Yoli, that was Susie's husband, Chris. That was her husband, Chris. That he was given that. I saw that one too. Yeah. Oh, he bought land for a new church. Now, see, somebody, and this is what I was reporting last night because that's what people were saying, is that he currently owned the land and the church that Solid Rock is at Market Commons. So, I thought he owned that one. Look, I can't even with this man. All I can hope is that, I think that's the last one I have for Mica. But the only thing I can think of is I hope this man is held accountable for what he has done. If he is not directly responsible, if it turns out he's not directly responsible for her passing away, then at least I hope he is held accountable for the way that he treated her during her life and how he has treated other people. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you've done that before and you have a history of, like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen to Susie. It's going to happen to the next one and the next one and the next one. Because y'all know, that's not love. That is not love. Somebody who loves you, like, go back, y'all Christian people, go back and read 1 Corinthians. Like, love isn't puffed up. It doesn't hold grudges. It doesn't count wrongs. It hopes all things, believes all things, right? So he should have been in there. If Mica had, if he had nothing to do with it, and Mica had severe mental problems, like, why weren't they having, like, major prayer services and, stuff like, let's have around the clock people. Let's, pray for her. Let's, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what he did and didn't do, but it doesn't sound to me like he did a whole lot except tell everybody what her problems were and control her. Oh, really? He showed JP on the road. Wow. Yeah, man, I wish I could have been there. Dadgummit. You are so right, Buckeye Clay fan. What is done in the dark will be brought to the light. Absolutely. And, that is what we're trying to do on social media, for sure. Wonder how far away his club is. I don't know. Probably, I'm assuming they're in Myrtle Beach. Is it, Lynn? Crocodile Rocks or something like that piano bar? Yeah. What a strange thing to invest in as a pastor, don't you think? I mean, I don't know. It's just bizarre to me. All right. So anyway, that's where we are. Again, if I find out stuff that is not true, I will come back and retract it. But I am trying to find, and if anybody knows, please let me know. I'm in most all of the Facebook groups that are for Justice for Mica or anything with Mica Miller. I'm in those either under Silky Southern Tea, or some pages won't let you join if you're a page, like so I'm either under there under my real name but yeah, so I'm trying to keep up. If anybody knows, I feel like in this situation, and let me just say why I think this. All right, JP has already gone through one divorce. He's gone through an affair. He's gone through a divorce, all right? Yes, it was hard and, people left, but he started over, built back. So what is the reason that he couldn't do it this time? All right. What is the big thing? Because it's so strange, the timing of her demise when she had so much hope. And in the last 2 times, I've shown you how much hope that she had, and she was making plans, and she was feeling positive, and she was happy to be free. So they had a court hearing coming up in June, but what could have been the motivating factor? Because I don't think it's a moral crisis. I don't think it's because, oh, I can't get through this, the embarrassment of divorce. No, he's done this before. All right, he can get through this. He knows how to, he obviously knows how to charm his way through that situation. He could do it again. But it makes me wonder, was there another factor that had to be so extreme? All right. They didn't have kids together. All right. So it wasn't a matter of he wanted the kids. Like usually when you have, an unaliving like this, it's because it's usually child custody or property, money, stuff like that. But they didn't have that. I mean, I'm sure there was property and stuff, but I don't know what she was asking for. Right? Seems to me that it would have to be something else. And my guess would be, some people have suggested, she knew too much. Okay. First of all, she was the worship leader. She led the women's ministry. She did graphic design. And there were a couple other things that she also did. So if you are that involved in the church, you would know if somebody was questioning, like, I thought the women's ministry had more money than this. Like, or why did the women's ministry, go buy a pool table? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm just making stuff up here. Okay. I'm just saying you would know. Maybe if things were like, what's going on? And maybe you would ask the pastor, what's going on over here? And then there was that whole Africa thing, okay? I got online. I was looking at it. If you want to sponsor a child at a school in Africa, it's $300 a year. Now, I don't know if they have a payment plan, but they have a link that you can go in there and you can just give $300. And here's my problem with that. All right. And this is because I have been the victim of somebody that was very small time. Okay. Very small time person that went around and traveled and went to different third world countries. And, a group of us sponsored a child, and we had done that for probably a year and a half, 2 years. And then found out that, those kids were never getting the money. He was just taking that. That was his income. All right. So unless I talk to the people at that school in Africa and they tell me, okay, this is your child, and yes, they have been paid for a year, I'm saying I don't trust anybody. I'm not giving $300. I don't know where that money goes. Is it going to Africa? You could tell me anything. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I wasn't born yesterday and I don't buy it. Sorry. What if something like that was going on and Mica knew it? All right. Again, I could just be going out, going down rabbit holes, but I'm just saying it seems like it would be a cleaner break. All right. Let's look at, okay, you have already established the fact that your wife has mental illness problems, okay? That really should be an easy fix. Now, I don't know what her mental problems were, if they were extreme, as they said, or if it was just depression, anxiety, whatever. It doesn't matter. If she was bipolar, look, I understand. I have family members who are bipolar, so I get it. I understand it's a roller coaster. But here's the thing. If you want out of a marriage, even as a Christian, as a pastor, and you have somebody who is severely mentally ill, as they say, it would be a much easier out to say, hey, look, we tried and tried to work on this marriage, and, she has problems and she doesn't want to take care of it. You could make a whole story about that, and you could convince people that she wanted the divorce, and there is absolutely nothing that you could do to stop it. Therefore, you are not guilty. It didn't have to come to this unless, if he did it, this is allegedly, unless she knew something that you didn't want to get out. That is my opinion only and my theory. Okay, let me see what y'all are saying. Yeah, you're right. Some churches don't allow people to drink, much less own in a bar. Absolutely. Yes, the history is not good. His behavior is very off. I think that was the big red flag last week. That's why all of us are like, huh? Especially people who cover crime cases. We're like, oh, you know what? We look at this behavior. We look at these kind of aberrations all the time. All the time. Money, if she was the church secretary. Yes, there are. Alan Coker, there are a lot of scammers for that. Okay, here is where Crocodile Rocks is at Broadway at the beach, 13 minutes away. Well, isn't that convenient? You could just go and visit your investment, right? Right? Okay, now what is this? These places are trying FOIA requests. Oh, good. FOIA requests. Yes. Yeah, Pam, my God is a forgiving God too, but the thing is you have to ask for forgiveness. Isn't that right? Yeah, of course. If I were JP right now, I would be scared for my immortal soul in this situation. All right, so let me tell you one more thing before we leave this part. Please hashtag anything that you say, any repost that you have, whether it's on X, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. Hashtag justice for Mica. Of course, that'll be all one word. But yeah, I'm so excited. I am so excited to see all the people who are rallying and who are bringing this to attention. The TikTokers, everything, y'all. It's amazing. It is amazing. Yes, the news is all over this now. Yeah, they sure are now. And, that's the beautiful thing about social media. Yeah, you got a lot of people. You're gonna love some people. You're gonna hate some people, whatever. But the thing is even, and this is what people said when we were searching for Riley Strain. It's like, you know what? I don't even care. I don't even care if they're down here for clicks, views, whatever. The point is they are reaching people and getting the word out and putting the pressure on. That is the point. And what people do with how they do it, that's on them. That's on them. This is just, just the best way to get attention for stuff. And we're going to go, which brings me to the next thing, which is Sebastian Rogers. And let me tell you something, and many people have said it, and I am in 100% agreement because that is exactly what happened to us. We were down there searching in Nashville for a Riley Strain. Unfortunately, Riley was found not alive. And while we were there, though, we kept getting stuff from people in Hendersonville, which is about 20 minutes or 20, 30 minutes away, not that far, saying that there was a missing 15-year-old. And, hey, well, is anybody going to cover this case? Well, we were all like ducks on a June bug for Riley. But then when that got resolved, we immediately went and were like, hey, okay, now we know what happened. There's still, and I'm still going to cover a lot with Riley. That case ain't done by a long shot. It's not done. But the family has a little bit of closure, not full closure. But so here we are with Sebastian. And so that's the next thing that we did is like a lot of the media, we were already in the area, okay? And we're like, hey, all right, there's another case just up the road. Let's all go over there. And so then you have Sebastian Rogers, who had been missing before Riley, but he wasn't getting the attention. And I don't think the people involved, let me just say all of them, all of the people involved, I don't think anybody expected this to hit this level nationwide, okay? Because now there's a lot of questions that people don't want to answer. There's a lot of things coming out that people don't want to hear or deal with. But hey, that's what happens. And again, that's the beauty of social media. So let's look at this. If you don't know, again, because if you don't know all these cases, Sebastian Rogers, 15-year-old autistic boy in Hendersonville, Tennessee, he was basically, according to his mom and stepdad, they put him to bed on a Sunday night. On Monday morning, they got him up for school, or went to get him up for school, and he was missing. Didn't take shoes, whatever. But there has been problems with this case from really day one, and I have helped search, and many people I know are still searching, and, looking everywhere. It is that one thing, this one thing it's been really, really hard emotionally on a lot of us. And not just because of Sebastian, but because the way that the families and other people have reacted and the things that they've done to us, the death threats and everything. Like, how are you out there searching for somebody? You're trying to help. You're looking for a missing kid and you're getting death threats? Like, what is wrong? What is wrong with you people? And we're out there at the pond and there's gunshots and there, y'all have heard me talk about this. Like, what is wrong with you people? We are trying to help. That says a lot though, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I am not going to be giving up on this Mica case at all. At all. As a matter of fact, I would like to go to South Carolina in a couple of weeks. If I can find a good enough reason to go. If there's anything going on, I will definitely be going. All right. Now this, oh my God, this. Let's talk a little bit about this picture. Y'all know, if you're watching Sebastian Rogers, this picture was taken, about a week, 2 weeks ago? Now, in North Carolina, at Grandfather Mountain, someone took a picture of this boy who is, I have to say, he's a dead ringer, in my opinion, from the pictures I've seen of Sebastian Rogers. Now, look, Sebastian's been missing since February 26th. Like, we're, at this point, honestly, when you're searching, you're not searching for someone who's camping in the woods, all right? So when I saw this, I was like, oh, I hope and pray this is Sebastian. Now, here's the thing. His dad, Seth, saw this picture, and he 100% believes it's Sebastian. Now, I'm going to go with, I believe Seth, because you know your child. But, you've heard the comparisons about this little place in his hair, like this kind of like this. It's not really a cowlick, but it's the shape of the way his hair goes down is identical to other pictures. The way he's guarding his body with his hand, everything looks like Sebastian to me. However, in the beginning there were rumors. Oh no, that's AI. It's this, it's that. Well, now, TBI's on it. North Carolina, like they're all on it. All right. If you didn't know, the updates of Seth had two female PIs that were working. Like, he's gone through several PIs. Then now he's got a spokesperson, the same guy that is doing Caleb Harris, spokesperson for both. So one of the PIs quit, and I don't know. It's like a constant changing, and I'll keep my opinions to myself, but as long as they are looking for Sebastian. Now, Seth went up to North Carolina. They do have some videotape. And now it's been so long that this is my thought. If it wasn't Sebastian, and there's no chance it's Sebastian, then they would have already come out and said, no, we have dug deep into this. We absolutely know it's not Sebastian. But it's been a week, and the police haven't told us anything. Now, maybe they're still trying to vet it. I don't know. But at this point, I am keeping my fingers crossed. I don't know who. There's been so many talk. Who's this woman with him? You know, who took him? Look, we don't know. We don't know any of it. But up to, I think it was about 2 nights ago or so, that there was an interview. I think Seth Rogers was on the Pascal show. And at that point, he still said, I believe that this is Sebastian. He didn't have any information other than the police are working on it. Okay, they're still vetting stuff. They're still looking at video. So at this point, I think this is, in my opinion, this is the best lead. Okay, this is the most, because people have searched everywhere. I mean, all over the place. I'm not saying that he still, you know, couldn't be somewhere if this isn't Sebastian, but there's been a lot of searching going on with absolutely zero results. So now I'm thinking, well, this makes a lot of sense because he wasn't close by, right? I don't know. I hope and pray it is Sebastian. Yeah, North Carolina for both cases. Yeah, it's crazy, right? What's going on in the Carolinas? Yeah, I saw that. I saw that, Alan, but I also saw other people and some stuff from, well, a bunch of different sources saying it was not from January. Because I heard that. I heard it was AI. I heard definitely because the trees are not green like they are everywhere else, or they weren't. But it is true. I used to live up in Virginia. And it is true that it takes it a lot longer to get green on the leaves, especially at that elevation. And that's what they were saying. I've seen so many people debate it back and forth, but most people can prove that the foliage on the trees, which, you know, it's been a long time since I lived in Virginia. I just know it seemed like it, to me, it always seemed like it was June before we had leaves on the trees. But I couldn't say one way or another because it's been too long. But I've seen them say that, yes, that is normal for it to be that way in April. At that elevation anyway. Yeah. So let's read this. Yeah. Right. Now, this is according to the neighbors, and this was on, actually, a lot of people covered it. Cannot remember who the first person was to interview the neighbor. I think if you will go to J is for Justice, that she played the video of the original call-in, okay? But they talked to, and remember, there were PIs and stuff that went out and talked to the neighbors. So here is the synopsis of that whole call. And this is why I pulled this one. It says that he was made to sleep on a mattress in the garage because Chris was tired of smelling pee. Now remember, Sebastian was autistic, and that is kind of normal. Like they don't always process the knowledge of when they have to go, and this happens frequently. According to the neighbor, Katie did not look for him long after he went missing. My recollection of what the neighbor said was about 10 minutes, that she went out for about 10 minutes riding around looking for him. Now, I can see doing that in the beginning, thinking that maybe being autistic, he wouldn't go that far, and then come in, you know, and then you call the police. But definitely after that, I would be out all day, all night. I don't even know if I would stop and talk to the police, honestly. But I mean, you know, it was a little sus. I will say that. Chris supposedly said that told Katie that Sebastian goes or I'm going. And I'm not even going to say this word, but y'all can read it. Chris called Sebastian and this neighbor also goes into detail talking about how Chris was out there power washing something, some piece of equipment, I don't know, something he was power washing, and Sebastian went outside and, just kind of wanted to be outside, whatever. And that Chris sprayed him down with a power washer. They said this happened in February. Now, Chris said, he only hit Sebastian with the belt like a couple of years ago, right? But I want to tell you something. Power washer hurts. And here's the thing. It was in February, but the neighbor did say it was one of those unusually warm February days. So that wasn't the biggest concern, is the weather. But the force of that and the way that he was treating him, yelling at him, calling him that name. Look, I don't know why. If you have followed this case at all and you have seen Chris Proudfoot on any kind of live call-in or whatever, you can see. I mean, look, everything about him screams abuser. That is my opinion, but I know them. I know them well. Let's see. Yeah, Nancy Grace did ask them about furniture. They said that there was a mattress, and brand new mattress in the garage. Alan, it might have been. I don't really watch a whole lot of anybody. I'll be honest with you, I don't. He may have had a video from that spot. I'm not sure. No, that's not a good place to keep your kid. However, they said that Sebastian was, and this is pretty common, so I'm not saying this was horrible, but when you have something like autism, they are prone to fits. Like literally, it's hard to calm them down. There's a lot of mental conditions that do that. And they said this is kind of like a safe place when they couldn't calm him down, nothing was working, and he kind of just had to work it out, that they would put him in the garage and that it was safe in there, and he would stay there until he was able to calm himself. Again, I have never had an autistic child, but I had a good friend who did, and I've been very up close and personal when a child like that does go off the rails. It is very, very scary, okay? Very scary. And they can hurt themselves, and you literally, like, there is nothing you can do. They have to kind of work that out of their system. Now, she would put her son in his bedroom, okay, and just not let him interact when she did everything she possibly could, and nothing was working. That's what he had to stay there until he calmed down, and it was usually maybe an hour, and then he would calm enough that she could continue to work with him and calm him. So, yeah, it can be rough. Let's see. Remember the case where the parents built a small room in their garage and got arrested? What case was that? That rings a bell with me. I can't remember. All right. But so there we are. That's where we are on Sebastian Rogers. Seth really believes that he is with these people, or he was in North Carolina, and we certainly all hope that he is alive and with somebody. Wanted to bring this to your attention just real quick because I saw this. I do not know anything about this case, but I thought I'd throw it on here. Another one missing in Nashville, because we're going to talk about that when we talk about Riley Strain later and Smiley Face. gonna talk about missing people in Nashville. So, and this was brand new. I haven't heard any breaking news today. If she's found, great. But if she isn't, her name is Nadia Wade, 23 years old, and she was last seen on Woodland Street, went missing in Nashville. All right. And if you've heard some of the ones I've done about smiley face, you will know that it's usually male, but it doesn't have to be male. So, we will talk about that. A lot of people are asking on Reddit about Smiley, and I'm like, I'm telling you, I've already put that picture out there. But I guess people aren't seeing it. So, all right. Let me change this one. I've just got a couple of minutes of Karen Reed. I took a video. All right, it's only like 3 minutes long. It's not very long, 3 to 5 minutes, something like that. It kind of is a summary. If you don't know about Karen Reed is the woman from Boston, Massachusetts, who is on trial for running over her cop boyfriend with an SUV. They said she was drunk and they were in a fight and she ran over him and he passed away. Now, sounds like she's going to spend her time in jail. Well, when you go and you start deep diving into this case, you find a lot of stuff that is very questionable, especially when it comes to who knew who and potential police corruption. So, this is one of those cases that I did not think I was going to be covering because I'm like, it just sounds like a generic kind of, I hate to say that, but, kind of a generic case. Oh, no. So, let's see. What are y'all saying? Oh, you're from Boston? Hey, I want to tell you something, Lynn. I love some Massachusetts. I flew into the Boston airport and I went from there to Cape Cod, and that's where I spent. Well, then I went to Salem too. Like, I had a friend who was just taking me around seeing all this stuff. I want to tell you, I liked Boston. I didn't get to spend much time in the city, but I love Cape Cod. Oh my gosh. I think it's just like a little piece of heaven on earth. The only thing I've said about Boston, I want to go back and I want to see all of the historical sites because I think that's so cool. All the stuff that happened in Boston. But I've driven everywhere. Okay, I've driven everywhere, all over the place, the worst places in the whole world, the worst cities. I don't think I could drive in Boston. I just don't think I could do it. It's very, it was mind-blowing to me. I've driven some horrible places. I'm like, I don't know how these people, I don't even know how this bus I was riding got into the lane. I don't know. It was magic. It was just magic. I'm like, I couldn't do this. But as for a place, I love it. All right. So let's talk about Karen Reed. Let's just catch up. All right. The first couple of days, and I may stream this tomorrow if somebody wants to watch it with me. I don't know. I've got to see what's on the agenda for tomorrow. But, the first 2 days, honestly, that I was watching it, I felt like the defense did a better job. Even though the prosecution is presenting their case, I felt like the defense was doing a better job working on their case through the prosecution because, we saw, first of all, that the responding officer never saw John's cell phone under his body. He never saw shards of plastic from Karen's taillight or anything that they said was at the crime scene. Nobody in that house where John was out laying in their yard freezing to death, nobody ever came out. Even a first responder didn't come out and try to take care of him. These are his friends. All right? And there's so much to this case, but just in the very beginning, I'm like, y'all already have a problem, right? You already have a problem if I'm a juror. And so then it just gets worse. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up. And this is talking about this is like day 3 and 4. There's just a couple little things. And what they're trying to do is establish, you know what? I don't know if I put this on. I don't know if I put it on the computer. I've got a recording, an enhanced recording of Karen Reed saying on that video. But they're basically saying she confessed. She's just like, I did it. But then there are some problems, okay? So this lady is, I can't remember. McLaughlin, I think, is her last name. Let's look, and this is going to be kind of, I may stop this.
Memories, obviously, they get a little worse with time, not better with time, right?
Sure.
Now, she was an EMT, all right, who was there on the scene. She wasn't the only one, but she comes to the scene. So they're talking about, you know, her memories. She was a little bit, she was not really hostile, but she wasn't happy. I can tell you that much.
The closer in time you are to the event, the fresher your memory is going to be about the details of that event. You would agree with that, right?
Sure.
You told Trooper Proctor the day after the event, on January 30th, that the statement that you attribute to my client was actually made to the female, not to you in response to your questioning. That's what you told Trooper Proctor, correct?
I don't have those notes in front of me, so I don't know that I can tell you that that's correct, but the statement was made in response to my question. However, the Miss Reed was looking at the civilian woman as she said that.
In fact, what you told Trooper Proctor was, quote, Karen then turned to her friend and stated, I hit him. End quote. Correct?
Okay.
Is that yes?
Okay, so yeah, this is one of the big points of the prosecution is that they're saying, according to this woman, Karen Reed says 4 times in succession, I hit him. But there are several things about this testimony that is a problem, and this one is coming up.
Yes.
Yes, if you're saying that's in quotation marks in the in that, then yes.
That's what's in the report.
Okay.
And I'm not, you don't have to agree with me. I'm asking yes or no questions, not okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So in fact, what you told Trooper Proctor was that Karen Reed looked at the female to your left and said 4 times, I hit him, correct?
Yes.
And have you since learned that the name or identity of the female that was standing to your left?
No.
You're aware that the female that was standing to your left reported the exact same statement?
No.
Are you aware that the female standing to your left reported that exact same statement as, could I have hit him? Did I hit him?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Same Caitlin Albert, that's the daughter of Brian and Nicole.
Okay, so she says she's the one, like she indicated in her report that she heard Karen say this, but actually Karen wasn't talking to her, she was talking to the other woman there, and the same report, that woman who Karen was actually speaking to was saying, she said, Karen said, did I hit him? Did I do it? Did I hit him? Did I? Not I did it. I hit him. I mean, it wasn't that. But according to this witness, now, could the memory be, she was working on, John, maybe she didn't hear it right, whatever. And so you can kind of give somebody a pass. Like, that's not their first priority is listening to the witness. They are actually trying to save somebody. But then you go and you listen to this part and you're like, well, there might be a reason that she remembered it just a smidge differently.
As you sit here.
Yes, as I sit here today, yes.
And you know that Caitlin Albert also has siblings, Brian Albert Jr., correct?
As I sit here today, yes, I know that.
And you also know, as you sit here today, that 34 Fairview was, at the time of January 29th, 2022, the Albert home, correct?
I know that as of today.
When you showed up at 34 Fairview that morning, did you recognize that address or recognize the home as being that of Caitlin Albert's?
No.
You have since learned that that was Caitlin Albert's home.
As I know that now.
Right. A couple of other questions. When you
Okay, so she is establishing that she did not know when she was called there that that was the Alberts' house. Now, if you don't know, the Alberts are got a lot of people on the police force in different capacities, and they have a lot of friends and a lot of connections. Well, you can see where this is going. Again, for y'all who are new, I am not a police hater at all. At all. Back the blue 100% when they are correct and when they are when they serve with integrity. I work with police officers. I work at a jail, so I would do anything for my good coworkers. You understand? But I would never cover for a dirty one ever. So let's go on and see her association, because as a juror, you have to take into consideration what may be motivating someone to give the testimony they give, right? If you're a thinking juror. So let's listen to this.
You did make this statement to Trooper Proctor. Your visit to Canton PD was coordinated by another officer to put you and Trooper Proctor together for the interview, correct?
I don't recall that.
Do you recall being contacted by a completely different officer to say, hey, Trooper Proctor wants to talk to you, come on into Canton PD, let's have an interview?
I don't remember exactly how the interview was set up.
So that was my next question. You may have just told me
Okay,
this.
now, let me interject here again. If you will remember, and he's talking about the investigator, Michael Proctor. Sounds all good, okay? He's just trying to establish, how did you end up talking to Proctor? Because Proctor is the investigator, the lead investigator, that was texting his high school buddies. And when he had Karen's phone, number one, he did not have a search warrant. Number two, she had messages on there between her and her attorney that were attorney-client privilege. And number three, he told his buddies that he was going through her phone. He was aware of the first two situations, that he shouldn't have it, but he was looking for pictures of Karen in not dressed, okay? I don't think I can say that word, but, raw pictures of Karen on her phone. Wow. What integrity you have, Mr. Proctor.
Do you have any recollection who set that interview up?
I don't.
Does the name Kevin Albert sound familiar?
No.
You know Kevin Albert?
No.
You know him to be a police officer at Canton PD?
No.
You know him to be the brother of Brian Albert?
No.
The objection sustained.
You have traveled with Caitlin Albert and friends. When I say traveled, I don't mean to exotic locations.
Okay, this is establishing the relationship between the witness and the Alberts. And Caitlin's brother, I believe, was one of the police officers. He was asking, so you didn't know that these people were police officers? No, I didn't. Boston's pretty big. I'm sure their PD is very large. I couldn't say 100%, but usually EMTs do work closely with police, because guess what? When you're out on the scene, guess who else is also out there? The PD. But I'll give her a pass on that. As far as what officer did you know him? Maybe not. Until you come to this part.
Locations, day trips, etc.
Yes.
You have a group of mutual friends together, correct?
We have mutual friends. Correct.
Those mutual friends have gone on day trips with you and Caitlin Albert involved?
Correct.
On more than one occasion, as a matter of fact?
Correct.
On many occasions, matter of fact?
I don't know.
More than 5?
I don't know.
More than 10?
I don't know.
You've seen photographs of you with Caitlin Albert on some of these day trips, correct?
Yes.
Okay, let me stop and explain something here, because this ends up being a sidebar. All right, the there are 3 pictures that have come into question. And I'm going to show you. I found a lot more than 3 digging through social media and through different people. But the reason that the jury does not get to see the pictures is because, but here's what the sidebar was about. The prosecution, and I have to side with the prosecution on this one. They said the defense had at least 3 photos that they wanted to show, but the prosecution said, hey, you didn't give us these photos, even though you've had them for 6 months. For 6 months, defense, and you didn't turn this over as discovery to the prosecution so they, could do what they do to defend their side. Well, that is completely wrong. Okay, I don't care who you are. I don't care what side you're on in the Karen Reed case. It needs to be correct due process, right? And this is not due process. This is not fair to the prosecution. That might be the only time that I say that in this whole trial. I don't know. I'm going to say I keep an open mind. We're going to see what this is going. But so what the judge decided is you can reference this and you can talk about the photographs, but you can't show the photographs because you didn't give them to the defense. And I do agree with the judge on this. I think she was more than fair on this.
You've seen at least 3 of those photographs.
Yes.
You're friends with Caitlin Albert on social media?
Yes.
Other than the 3 photographs that you've seen, you just talked about, there have been other events that you've been at with Caitlin Albert that weren't necessarily photographed, or we don't have those photographs, correct?
Probably.
You know that Caitlin Albert is the same Caitlin Albert that's the daughter of Brian and Nicole Albert, as you sit here.
Yes, as I sit here today, yes.
And you know that Caitlin Albert also has siblings, Brian Albert Jr., correct?
As I sit here today, yes, I know that.
Okay. She says she didn't know prior to this that Caitlin had siblings. But here's just a series. I think there's like 4 pictures. I'm just going to let them play. Here's pictures of her with Caitlin. All right. So I'd say you probably knew her better than you are letting on. Because here's the thing. When they first asked her, did she know Caitlin Albert? She said, oh, I went to high school with a Caitlin Albert. Really? That's the way that you talk about this person who is just, touching you in this picture? Oh, I went to high school with her. To me, that was evasive. But just look at these pictures and tell me what you think. So there you go. I would say you're quite chummy. That is my opinion. But yeah, that's that's where we are with Karen Reed. Absolutely, Lynn. I want to see the autopsy where the injuries can be explained. Yeah, me too. Because if you don't know, here is spoiler alert. John had dog bite marks on him, which they said he never went in the house. That's the whole premise of this, is that he was unalived in the driveway, which is, the German Shepherd that just happened to be in the house, I don't know. That had nothing to do with it. Come on. It would be great to know if he went in the house. Are you talking about John? Or, I'm going to say absolutely. And there's a lot of reasons for that. The dog bite marks being one of them. Also, I don't know if they're going to get into the autopsy, but what I have heard from the autopsy is that they've said he does have injuries, but they don't match up on where the SUV would have hit him, because they said it was her taillight, but then there is clear video of her breaking her taillight completely elsewhere, not on John. So, and I went through that on the one. I think we only did one episode on Karen Reed months ago, but yeah, that is a big problem to me. The injuries need to match. They got rid of the dog. Yes, they did. Very quickly after that. Imagine that. All right, so there we are with Karen Reed, and I believe that her trial will resume tomorrow. Like I said, I may or may not, sit here and watch it with y'all. Yeah, I'll just check. I'll I'll let you know if I'm going live. Not sure. I know I can't do it Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'm kind of interested because like the first day, if y'all watched the first day of the trial, it was the opening statements. The defense was kind of more animated. The prosecution was, kind of dull. And then, whew, that first day we watched so many videos of it snowing, people shoveling the snow. I'm like, what has this got to do with anything? Like, I feel like I have moments of my life I will never get back watching nothing. So, yeah. The Karen Reed case is confusing, and that's why, I want to keep an open mind, but I see a lot of problems already for reasonable doubt, and the defense hasn't even started their stuff. So we'll be talking Karen Reed a lot. So what I may do is kind of do recaps of the day and stuff like that. All right, now, last thing to talk about. We've been going for a while now. Last thing to talk about is Riley Strain. Because there's not a whole lot in the Facebook groups and stuff right now because they kind of shut it down. Basically, as people do, they were wilding out there in these groups, wilding. So one of the major ones that the family and Chris Dingman, who is the representative for the family, he's like, let's shut this down for a while until we get the autopsy results of both ones National PD did and the family. If y'all are not familiar, let me recap with Riley Strain. Riley was a college student from Missouri State who went to Nashville. This is back in March. I think, oh my gosh, trying to keep all these dates. I think it was either the 6th or the 8th. I'm sorry, Riley. I cannot remember. But he was, they think, from the video that has been shown, that he was very intoxicated, but it looked more like he had been roofied. And he's out walking. His frat brothers let him leave the club. He got thrown out of Luke 32's. And he goes walking down the street trying to find his hotel, but actually had the wrong destination in his phone. He ends up in a really bad area by the Cumberland River, and then his phone goes dark. And you can see him stumbling, but basically he vanishes. He is found on March 22nd in the Cumberland River. He has been passed away. We don't know how long, though. That's going to be a big thing. So there has been so much controversy. Now, this one, I was on location. I was there with a friend of mine, and we were both, y'all know if you watch this channel, CJ and I were out there for days doing stuff with trying to find Riley, and then afterwards going back, and there were so many people, locals, who started telling us all the problems that Nashville has and some horrific things that are going on. And so we knew that this was not going to be something that, okay, when they found Riley, all right, we're done. This is something that is going to require a lot of investigative reporting and investigation. So I went back down there 2 weeks ago. I was actually looking for somebody else at the time too. But I wanted to get some video footage for something that I saw. And that's what we're going to talk about. Because while we were down there, and there were so many, the chat was going so fast, we couldn't keep up. But every once in a while, we'd see somebody asking us, do you see a smiley face? Do you see a smiley face? And we're like, no, we don't. There's very little graffiti down here. And we just weren't, I don't know. I can't speak for him, but I can speak for me. I just was not in the mind frame. I was not putting it together. I had heard about the smiley face, SK, but I didn't. My fault. It was just my fault. I was tired. I had my focus somewhere else. And then I started going back on old video. And I watched a lot of the hours that we spent and the days that we spent down there. And there were several things that, and one I haven't really talked about, but there were so many things that I found looking back at the footage. And so when I got home, thank you, Buckeye, March 8th, and found the 22nd. I knew it was one of those days. Okay, but that was, you know, tough. That was a really tough time down there because the family was down there while we were, you know, searching, and you had all the emotions. We kept hoping that he was somewhere. Maybe he had an injury and he couldn't remember who he was or whatever. But, you know, that wasn't the case. So when I got back and I really started looking into Smiley Face, and you'll see, like, if you go back and watch my old lives on this, you'll see the progression, because at first I was like, no, this is absolutely not, I know it's similar, but this is absolutely not Smiley Face. And then the next one is like, I don't really think so, because I don't see a motive here. It has the earmarks of it, but I don't think so. To the next one, when I was like, holy crap. Guess what I found? And I went back to the very first day. It was so weird because we hadn't been there that long, and we had kind of set up under the bridge, and CJ and Christine were over there talking, and I just felt something drawing me, just drawing to go way on down from where they were to another part. And I didn't even know what I was doing. But I had my camera because we were doing a dual live. And so I had to go back and look. Did I capture a Smiley Face the first day? This is a couple of days before Riley was found. And yes, I did. Riley hit his head. Possibly. They said there's no traumatic injury. I can tell you one thing. Being down there all those days and seeing that terrain, he would have done more than hit his head. There is no way that he could have fallen off. He couldn't have fallen into the water. And if you look back at our videos and stuff, you will see it is absolutely impossible for him to have fallen off the side and fallen into the water. And if he had fallen down, there would have been a lot of broken tree branches, limbs, whatever, and he would have had a lot of injuries. So that's where we're going to start with this one, okay? Let me change this. We're going to talk about Riley because a lot of people... Oh, you mean at the gas station? At the gas station. Oh, he was on the corner of... Oh, what is that street? He was past a food truck. Yes, he did hit his head, face planted. And he was running down the street. And that was kind of weird to me. Like, why are you running? That was, usually people who are intoxicated don't take off running. The homeless people could very well have been. And I think when I that's kind of what I thought, and that's what the people of Nashville thought. And so you'll see when I was trying to debunk that Riley could have anything to do with Smiley Face, when I was debunking it, I didn't realize, because it's my fault, I didn't study enough to realize that is a very huge part of the Smiley Face theory, but not just random homeless people, but yes, homeless. And I went into that, I think my last video that's got the picture of the little smiley face on it. Yeah, you will see exactly the theories and the research done by Kevin Gannon and what's his name? His last name is Duarte. And you'll see, like, oh my gosh, it is not, Smiley Face is not what I thought it was. And the thing of it is, is that it keeps happening and keeps happening. And that's why I wanted to share with you some updates of stuff that people are talking about. And this is my opinion. These are things that people are saying that actually have some basis in fact, okay? He was seen, yes, he was seen after he fell on the body cam. No, smiley face is not in prison. That is happy face. See, that was the same thing I thought, Lynn. Really? Because I was down there and I wasn't paying attention. When people kept saying that, I was like, why? Like, this is ridiculous. No, two very different cases. And smiley face has never, ever been, no one has ever been, they don't even have a suspect. So yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I get why you said that. That is exactly what I thought. All right, so let's look at some stuff that made me really think. Now, most of these come from Reddit. All right, this person right here, I live near Nashville, and I'm convinced we have an SK that visits every 3 years or so in the months of December through March. We have the accidental drownings, all Riley's age. When looking for his body, they found 3 others. That is 100% true. Found 3 others and apparently are accidental as well, or no info is released. Can someone help me look into this? I did message this person on Reddit. I have not heard back. But that's a whole lot of something. See, that right there, I have to dig in. I mean, going back every 3 years. And again, unfortunately, that pattern would absolutely fit in. If that is true, that would absolutely fit in with the whole smiley face theory about how they work. But there's a lot. Yeah, they did find 3. They found a woman who had been missing. I can't remember if she went missing in January or February. It was a couple months. Seems like maybe it was before that. Anyway, yeah, she was found. She had vanished. They found a police car with a policeman and some suspect, somebody he had arrested. They were in the water. There was actually and there was a, let's see, it's those 2, but they also found a Hispanic man, where I think I might have something on that, which they didn't know if it was related, but they found him. And then also when we were down there and we were doing this live, they had someone fall in the river, but it was a homeless person, and the camp is right there on the river, so that is possible, unlike falling from the rail. But yeah, like people just be falling in that river all the time. It's crazy. Yes, Ladybird Lake that is smiley face also. Probably need to do a whole video on that. There really is so much coverage on that one, but yeah, that one's not letting up, and definitely has the same earmarks as Riley, as the victims in Chicago and all these other places. Yeah, so it's crazy. It's crazy. And the amount of people that go missing. If you don't believe me, like, just get on some kind of random Facebook page that talks about missing people in Nashville. I told you I went 2 weeks ago. I was looking for another one that disappeared and vanished from the bus station, Matthew Parasini. I still have very much an idea of probably what has happened to him, but I can't prove it. Okay? Can't prove it. But he was 31. Yeah, actually, he looks younger. He wasn't really the same. He wasn't the same type as Riley. But yet, I mean, he went missing March 30th. All right? How crazy is that? Right? To my knowledge, he still hasn't been found, unless it's been in the last few days. Yeah, why did the police not? Yeah. Why do this to people? Yeah, there's a whole lot to that one. Whole lot to that smiley face theory that I had no idea. It is very scary. It's very scary. And yeah, something needs to be done. But it's going to take police from, it's going to take a joint task force. It's going to take the FBI, and it's going to take a lot of people to bust that one. Tennessee is high. You ain't kidding me. Because I'm going to tell you something. I live in Alabama, for those that don't know. And I'm on my Facebook. I've got, the I'm part of the Alabama missing people. And, when I look it up, I don't see that many people. It's like it takes a long time. And most of the cases that people reference and missing, if it's not an Amber Alert, you always have that custodial thing. But if it's not an Amber Alert, I mean, it's like the cases that they bring up in these groups are old cases. Like they've been missing for a long time. All right? Not new missing people. By the same token, I have the missing Tennessee people, like, dang, it's like boom, boom, boom all the time. I find it comes up in, my notifications. Hey, another one is missing in Tennessee. Most of the time it's from the Nashville area. It is very scary. All right. And here's another one. This is from John Top of the World. Okay. Again, I want to let you know in case you want to look on Reddit and interact with some of these people. Okay, Caleb Harris. Now, I covered his case too. He is in Corpus Christi, Texas. He disappeared into thin air. So Caleb Harris disappeared in Corpus Christi. Riley Strain in Nashville. And now Haven Morris is drowned in Fort Lauderdale. Not exactly a raging river. Let me tell you something. I have not even had time to look up Haven Morris. This is brand new. I think, not surprising, given the deaths last spring in Austin, that the SFK may be enjoying warm weather these days. Be careful if you're a young man walking alone at night in the South. Hold on. I can't see that. The next few weeks. Yeah. Wow. Thing of it is we all know, I mean, probably most of us know a young guy that, whether it's your nephew, your son, your grandson, your whatever, friend, it's alarming. It is so alarming at how many young men are going missing. Like, we've known women go missing, but now it's like, it's been crazy, the amount of men. So there was Haven Morris. Didn't even know about that. Okay. Horton Boone says, the operating cells used to be in the upper Midwest, like Minneapolis, La Crosse, Milwaukee, Chicago, along the I-94 corridor, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and then to Boston area. There you go, Lynn. I have heard of some SFK that they think might be Boston related. Weird that it's headed south where drinking culture isn't nearly as strong. Yeah, because if you study SFK, it did start that they know of. Okay, this is in 1997 when they started tracking this. But the problem is, we don't know how long it's been going on before actually anybody started tracking it and saying, this ain't adding up. It started with Kevin Gannon getting a case of a body floating in the river, but it was weird. It wasn't like, it wasn't like accidental. There were some really weird earmarks, and then he started looking into it, and more bodies are floating up with very strange earmarks, okay? And then it starts happening in other cities, and this has been going on. So how long did it happen, and where did it happen before 1997? We don't know, because nobody's tracking it. Okay. Alan Coker says, nationwide, every 40 seconds someone goes missing? Wow. 500,000 of the 800,000 go unreported. That is crazy. Why are they not reported? That's insane to me. Okay, I'm going to make this one bigger for myself. All right, this is Leprechaun 2023. Hi, I've been studying the smiley face theory for 20 years. I initially subscribed to this is the group, the SFK group on Reddit. I initially subscribed to your single perp theory, but quickly ruled it out simply because there are many instances when the disappearances occurred on the same night, thousands of miles apart. Yes, that is crazy. These bizarre, very targeted deaths are also occurring in the UK and Europe. I've come to believe that this is a coordinated dark web scavenger hunt of some sort, for lack of a better word. That's an interesting theory. There are often connections. Now, the next couple of these is where it gets weird. There are often connections between the names of the victims or the places where they were unalived. For instance, recently, Riley Strain was found dead in the river, while at the same time, Haven Morris, who was found in a canal in Fort Lauderdale, was last seen at a bar called Dicey Riley's. So, you had Riley, who was the victim, and then you had Haven, who came from a bar called Riley's. Riley isn't that common especially a bar name. There are many, many other similar peculiarities that seem to be more than coincidental. Yeah, that right there, I was like, holy smoke. That is. Okay, so was that just, coincidence? Well, people are asking about some other things. They had other questions in here. And he said, I'll get back to you with some answers. I read that a young man in the UK disappeared in the Cumberland Basin in England, was found in the water at the same time Riley Strain disappeared, who I believe was found in the Cumberland River. Yes, he was. Or the Tennessee River, which flows into the Cumberland watershed. No, it is the Cumberland River, but I haven't confirmed any of that info as fact. Wow. So there's a young guy who disappears in the Cumberland Basin in England. See, now I know what they're saying about a dark scavenger hunt. Like, are these victims? And that has been a question that people who are studying Riley, Smiley Face are asking, because sometimes there does seem to be maybe theories that these victims were targeted before, like that Riley could have been targeted from before, when he was still at college in Missouri State. Like, did they know? Because a lot of these kids who are visiting these towns by the river and having the same thing happen are from out of state. Like, it's not just like you were a college student in, the college there in Nashville and then you fell in the river. No, they're usually out of state. So that and some other things lead some people to question whether they are targeted. Now, these people who are looking at on a worldwide basis, which I honestly never thought about, that is too strange. You have Haven Morris coming from Dicey Riley's, Riley Strain, who's found in the Cumberland River, but in England, in the Cumberland Basin, there was a guy found at the same time that Riley do you see how entangled this is? Which would make it really, really hard for people to put together, right? Unless you are looking at the big picture. And if there is a correlation between these smiley face things and other countries, then you are absolutely, I don't think it's just weird people on the dark web. I think this is more of a concentrated group targeting people. But why? Like, what? And who? All right. Now this is from Autumnal. I don't know how to say this. Autumnal. I don't know. Sorry. If you ever say this, I can't do it. Not only does Dicey Riley's have Riley Strain's name in it, but Haven Morris in Florida had the same last name as another guy who went missing earlier this year named Harley Morris from Texas. Also left a bar in the middle of the night on foot. Same initials. Then you have Caleb Harris from Texas, walked out of his apartment at 2:45 a.m. and disappeared, whose last name is like a mixture of both their first and last names, and of and the last name Morris. All these just creepy coincidences? Probably, but yikes. I'm not sure about Caleb Harris, although it wasn't the same scenario, okay? It was as far as him being young and college and all this kind of stuff, but he hasn't been found. So, if he shows up in the river or the ocean or whatever, then, that could be a problem. But it wasn't the same thing. He wasn't leaving a bar. He wasn't, drinking. He was at his house with his roommates, his friends. He is expecting a DoorDash. He walks outside barefoot. He's not going very far. He's just kind of hanging around, but he disappears in the middle of the night. So do I think Caleb Harris is? That, to me, from what we know, unless they find him, if he is not alive and he has GHB in his system, that would definitely, cause some stuff. But at this point, I don't see Caleb Harris as being one, but that's, just my opinion. So, yeah, as I was deep diving into that, I thought, oh my God, we could be looking at, I don't know what we're looking at. Do I have... I put it on the, if you haven't seen my smiley face video and the picture, I don't know if I've got it on the computer or not. Let me see. Just in case. It is, very much, now that I look at it, I hope I don't do anything with this live. Now that I look at it, it is very much a smiley face, okay? Which I am, like I said, I am terribly embarrassed to say that. Let me see if I think it's just on my, maybe there it is. Okay. I'm terribly embarrassed to say I didn't see it when I was down there the first several times. Let me see if I can show it to you. Let me try this. Give me just a second. Okay, and the reason I even bring this up is, to me, I'm past this and I'm looking at other cases. Why is this not letting me do it? It's probably not going to let me do it. But the reason is, I was past it, but I'm here in Facebook groups and stuff, and people are asking over and over and over. Has anybody seen a smiley face? Is there a smiley face? And I'm like, I can't put, like in most of these groups, I can't put my video like on there, for, because it's like advertisement, like you're not allowed to do that. So, I will message people privately and say, yeah, there is, go look at this video. I've got it. But so if anybody asks, yeah, I have got it and I show it. I've actually got, I think, three different times that we went down there and saw it. And the very last time I went down there, which was 2 weeks ago, I also took a lot of video of it. It was on a live stream. So, some of it is, when you live stream, it's a little fuzzy sometimes, but it does get clear and you can very much see it. I don't think, for whatever reason, it's not going to let me pull the picture up. But anyway, so that's where we are with all this stuff. I'm going to be looking the next couple of days to see what updates we have. Yeah, I've heard this. I heard this in a lot of the groups. There was a girl with a smiley face phone at the police press conference after Riley was found, and she was also at the vigil displaying that phone prominently both times. I have heard that. I don't know who she was, and I wonder, was she thinking it was smiley face and that's why she was doing that, or was she taunting? I don't know. I've heard people say, it was weird, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I did not notice that. But heck, I didn't even see the graffiti on the door, so whatever. All right. Jeez Louise. I'm about out of breath talking, y'all. But yeah, do know I'm gonna be keeping up with this, especially Mica Miller. Anything y'all wanna? I do have it's very not very many people even know that I do have a Facebook page, Silky Southern Tea. If you want to send me anything, if you want to send any links over there, you got any questions? I mean, you can always email me. Whatever, just let me know. Just let me know because I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure I don't have anything else going on. But yeah, I'll be updating as soon as I know. When I know stuff, I'll update you. I don't know. So if I don't have anything to say, I'm not going to go live. Like, what's the point? Like, I'm not going to waste anybody's time. All right. I hope y'all have a beautiful rest of the night. And I hope that you stay safe out there for sure. And whatever you do, just stay safe. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.